Welcome to my office. So, you might be wondering whether or not you want to book a discovery call with me. And this is my little intro to what a discovery call is, because it's one of the top questions I get all the time. What is a discovery call? Tell me more. And why should I take it? So, first of all, it's just a meeting between you and me. It's usually on Google Meets, something you don't have to download any apps in order to open. So technical challenges will not be in your way to book this meeting, first of all. And then what happens on these meetings, which I usually call discovery calls, but I've also like to call them strategy calls, is that I meet with people who are either curious or absolutely know that this kind of holistic medicine, nutrition, and this whole field is for them, and or that they just have an inkling of that they could get really good results if they take a step in this direction. So I get all sorts of people on these discovery calls, and what I mostly want you to know is that it's a space for us to hear what your goals are. And I mean, what are your dreamiest health results that you really, really want? And maybe right now think is absolutely impossible for you. And well, let's see about that. How shall we? And what we will do is I'll ask you about those goals, and then I'll do my practitioner thing, and I'll ask you a bunch of maybe half unrelated, from your perspective perhaps, um, questions about and around your health history and things you've tried before and that sort of thing. And we'll go on for a little bit, and I'll collect that information, taking lots of notes. I love notes. And with that information, here's the interesting part, which I think everybody really appreciates a lot about these calls. And that is when I have all this information in front of me, I can use my experience to give you my top 2 to 3 recommendations for you to do after we finish the call to get you the best leap forward towards your dreamiest health results. So that's like number one part of the goal. Goal number one is absolutely first and foremost, and it's kind of the whole reason I have them, is that I want you to, first of all, save time with the 20,000 different things you could be doing and might have tried to do before. To save time and have someone with experience tell you what this kind of person that you are, with your history and what you've tried before, what should you actually do, as in ought to, not should, but really ought to, based on my experience, and thus move you forward with much more strength and results driven experience, rather than this try everything and a little bit of this and a little bit of that, or try everything like hardcore and then get super overwhelmed. And I've been there too, but get overwhelmed, lose respect for yourself and all that jazz. Maybe not, but also just get like exhausted doing it all and kind of sick of it, and then stop, quit, something, just end, even if you've seen some good results. Or you might have found something that works, but it's so hard that you can't imagine how you could possibly move forward with that. And yeah, there's lots of really hard ways to get good results. But I'm not about having you do hard just for hard's sake. I want you to do the smartest thing and not work hard for things that you don't have to work hard for. I want you to save your energy and time so that you can use that spare time to go do the things that you really want to do with your time. So that's overall the top priority of the discovery call, and it's absolutely my secret mission for you to fall in love with this field. It's holistic functional nutrition and medicine field. It's beautiful, guys, and it gives people results So when you take those recommendations home, or we talk about them on the call, the top 2 to 3 things I want you to do, then I have people take them home and they do them. And then after some time, maybe a month, maybe a day, they get back to me and they tell me how things have been going. Sometimes I have people then reach out to me and be like, I want to know how I can do this at the next level. I want to work with you, like months later after they did that. Or on the call, when I give them those recommendations, I will also have lots of people be like, wow, that sounds amazing. I actually really want to work with somebody to make this a reality. And how does it work to work with you? And this is the other part of my discovery call and why I have them still in my practice. Even as we've gotten busier and busier, it's really important that I have this face-to-face conversation with all my clients to tell them what they can expect in terms of my program and my philosophies, and make sure everybody's synced up and, you're in the right place. And most people are. And absolutely, if this is not something that I can help you with, I have a wonderful referral list of practitioners in the same field and parallel fields that I know can absolutely help you. There's not one thing yet I haven't found something I can't refer to. And a lot of things that people do come to me with, I can help them with, absolutely. So I hope that answers your question on what a discovery call is. It's really an open invitation. It's something I just like having. I have a lot of people that don't even do discovery calls with me because they know this is for them, and and then it fits, and then they don't even need this first introduction. And then there are other people that have that same certainty, but they're kind of like the type A, which is totally like me too. You just want to have everything kind of lined up. You want to know as much as possible before you get started. You might even go on a diet or like try to get some good results before you come and book a discovery call with me. That's a very lovely thing that people do, but just so you know, it's absolutely unnecessary for you to, feel like you need to, show some results from your own really hardcore efforts before you come and see me. Again, I don't want you to waste your precious time working harder at something you could work smarter at with less willpower and grit. Just have it flow to you easily and smoothly. One of my favorite things I like to tell my clients and remind them of is that what you're seeking is seeking you. And it's a lovely phrase to remind people that often the best answer for them in their health goals is to slow down a bit, because when you slow down, you get into that focused, engaged, creative state where you have reserves of energy there for you. You're not frantic, rushed, overwhelmed in memory thought loops that are just not helpful at all. So be in that state instead. Remember that slow is smooth and smooth is fast. That's the real trick to getting somewhere fast. You want the smooth way. And I'm sure I can help you with what you're getting to. And some things you might come to me with that I see a lot, I'd say I see a lot of people that really want to lose weight for the last time. And understandably, that's sometimes for slimming or it's for fitness. And, upping or maintaining, making sure we have that muscle weight and we're only targeting that fat release process. And then I have a lot of people who want to improve their energy because they feel like they're way older when they really evaluate their energy and how they feel when they wake up in the morning, and like how they don't even want to get up anymore. There's no that umph, groove, will to live, just isn't there anymore. So fatigue is a huge thing I see and help people a lot with. And of course, I really like a really big part of my practice too is also down the hormonal and fertility route, and that's a huge other topic by itself. But again, if you know me at all, it's all very interconnected because there's only really three things that go into the health foundations of the body. So I would talk to that. I would introduce that to you a bit more in our discovery call together and explain what kind of process and philosophy I use to help people with such vastly different health issues and problems. Like, many people would not realize that a blood sugar regulation issue, like someone who has a diabetes, for example, or some sort of blood sugar dysregulation, it could also be hypo or hyperglycemia. So that can be very related to something like infertility. And overall malnourishment can be very much related to something like an autoimmune condition or energy or your mood. And to many people, it's just separate systems of the body. And of course, in the holistic and functional perspective, it's very much a holistic view of things. And we don't separate the body in such convenient and I'd say profitable ways that the allopathic medicine currently does, unfortunately. And I'd say the one thing I'd like to address too, which is something that comes up a lot in these calls, is that often when I talk about the solutions, that I offer people solutions and what they could do to really see really good results, I often get the response where, well, could this really be that simple? You know? And I really love that response because it really shows the conditioning that we've all undergone. If it's not complex and difficult, then it can't be the answer, because otherwise everyone would already be doing it, right? Right? No, that's not right at all. One of my favorite funny phrases is like, common sense isn't common at all. Is that how it goes? In fact, and I'm sure you know this, things that work, the things that really work, 90% of it or more really is free. And the thing about free, guys, is that it's not very profitable. And absolutely, if you can't patent it, as in make a drug for it, rather than use the whole plant form, for example, that it originally came out from, like aspirin and willow bark, for example, you can't really patent aspirin as it's found in the bark itself. So instead, what you do is you just take that molecule and you just change it slightly, just ever so slightly, so that then it becomes a whole new molecule. And it does have slightly different effects, by the way, on the body, but let's just brush over that. And then you can patent it, and then only you have access to the selling rights for a certain amount of time. And that's very, very, very profitable. And so back to that simplicity question, can your answers to your health problems really be this simple? Absolutely. I can't tell you how simple, how powerful the simplest things have been for me personally, as well as every single one of my clients. And again, 90% of it or more really is free. And that's why it works. And you know this to be true. And it's just not something we think about a lot because we've been taught otherwise. And that's okay. We can change that. So, to recap, what do we do here? We have the discovery call as an open invitation for anybody who wants to figure out what's the next best thing they can do. You have somebody personally with lots of experience go over your health history and a few other things and your results, like what you really want, your desired results. Look at all those things together, produce top recommendations that will get you there for sure if you do them, which is another trick, right? How do you get yourself to do them? And that's another part of how my program works. It's a big part of why my program works so well for people. I teach people how to get themselves to truly do things for themselves again. And that's a very, very powerful process in my program. But again, so what is the discovery call? It's totally just where you get to sit down for free with me. You get all these personalized recommendations for free. And at the end, there's no commitment. And is that right? Did you get that right? Is it that simple? It really, really is that simple. And that's exactly how I designed it to be, because that is the future of medicine, health, nutrition. It's going to be this simple in the future. And if you're on board, jump on the bandwagon. You're in the right place. And I can't wait to see you there. And of course, I'd say the last thing would be I'd love to share with you my motto. And my motto, my working motto, is something that I love to ask people, kind of like the first thing I love to ask people when I meet them at the discovery call and throughout our time together when we work together. This is the question of, what would you be doing instead if you knew that your health dreams were already inevitable? And that really encompasses my whole motto. I want you to work smarter, not harder, and then take all that extra time and funnel it back into the things that you're here to do on this planet, eh? And this really is a really eye-opening question for yourself to ask yourself. How much time have you been looping around the same health problems again and again? And what is that taking away from you? And if you knew all those health issues would be resolved once and for all, and yeah, if you really knew that, what else would you be doing this very minute? Or this weekend, or next month, this whole year? How would you plan it differently? Who would you see? What would you be doing differently that you wouldn't have dared to do or dreamed of doing before? And I don't ask this question to break people's hearts and disappoint them. No, I ask this question because I know that through this process, we can get you there. I can help you get there. And it's that simple. So, and all of this, of course, is not for you to just believe. I mean, you probably just met me. Don't believe me right away. Instead, I want you to experience it for yourself. So don't believe me. Experience it for yourself. That's the best way. All right. I hope I see you there.